Welcome back to Real TV, and I'm Stephen King, the real Stephen King. And that's for these young people out here, man. Young men and young women. We in a very toxic society, where we often find our counterparts disloyal, liars, cheaters, manipulators, thieves, hoes, you know, all type of toxic personalities that we come into existence with. And that's because the fabric of our nation, the fabric of our souls, the fabric of our spirits, the fabric of our minds have been brought so low that it has created an existence that's virtually hell. And I come from the crack era. I'm an 80s baby. And I saw how those drugs ravaged the neighborhood I was in, how it turned the men and women into basically zombies, immoral zombies that would do anything for those drugs, including having sex with minors, people that were supposed to be our caregivers, our mothers, our aunties, you know, uh, the men that was supposed to been, guiding lights for us, our big bros or uncles or fathers or whatever the case may be. We saw these people out in the streets, man, in bad ways. And it destroyed the respect. It destroyed the love. It destroyed the direction for many of our lives. But we can't allow these people coming out of that era, because now my era have kids. And a lot of them have kids that's young adults right now. We can't allow these situations to dictate how we walk this earth, because we serve a greater power. We can't allow the pains and the trials and tribulations of the past make us say that we're going to be disloyal. We're going to be liars. We're going to be manipulators, that every woman on this earth that we come into contact with, we have a mindset of, I can't trust her. Or every man that a woman comes in contact with, where I can't trust them. We have to come into a new existence within our own minds and spirits. And it's not about what everybody else is doing, it's what you're doing, because at the end of the day, you have to become the change that you want to see in the world. That's like that old song that came out before my time with Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson. Take a look at the man in the mirror. Stop worrying about what everybody else is doing. What, you a follower, or do you want to become a follower? Because that's what many of us found ourselves doing within the trenches, is becoming followers of the chaos that everybody else was participating in. It's a power greater than yourself, greater than the men and women that control this world. It's a power greater than those dudes that you see in the neighborhood that may look like they prospering, or the people that you see on TV, whether they're rappers or entertainers. It's a power greater than all of those people that exist, that you can lock into to become the best version of yourself. But you got to stop following the crowd, because following the crowd will lead you straight to the gates of hell. It's a lot of people that's under demonic possession, and their father is Satan. And I'm not talking about some guy with horns and a tail and a pitchfork. I'm talking about people that look just like you, that are how you believing that they're highly blessed and highly favored by some angelic spirit, but really they just following the ways of the devil. And ain't no telling where you might see these people. You might see them in the pulpit. You might run into them on the internet, whether it's YouTube, whether Instagram, whether TikTok. You might run into these people on the TV screen. You might run into them in your neighborhood. Ain't no telling where you might run into these people, but they're under demonic possession because they are not bearers of light. They're not bearers of truth. They're liars. They pretend to live lifestyles on the screen, but in reality, the things that they spit to you, the things that they regurgitate to you, is not real. They don't walk in those ways. They just talk in those ways. And when you find yourself caught up in the music, you will get lost in those ways. That's just like, let's take music, for example. You got a lot of dudes out here that's professing that they killers, drug dealers, that they drill, that they'll do anything, any time of the day, that they doing all these drugs. But in reality, man, they not living that life. They just profiting off that death and destruction. And it's the same thing with the movie industry. They load your mind up with all these destructive images. And in reality, no one desires to live that way because they know what the consequences are. But they feed you these visions to get it within your mind, your spirit, and your soul that this may be an escape. This may be a way for you. Prime example, American Gangster. Now let's get to the neighborhoods. Let's get to the dudes that's supposedly out here getting it. When reality, man, them dudes, man, they in survival mode every single day. Where death is just around the corner every single day. A prison cell is around the corner every single day. A life sentence is around the corner every single day. And who wants to be a part of that existence? Who wants to fool himself into believing that that's the only lane that you have to take in life? That's your only option. Being created by an awesome creator. That you'll subject yourself, man, to that type of existence. And trust me, I done lived it, man, and ain't nothing pretty about it. A lot of pain, a lot of trials, a lot of treachery, a lot of lies. Now let's get to the women, man. For a lot of these women out here, especially the real beautiful ones, man, they've been being chased since they was 12 or 13 years old, man. A lot of them haven't had fathers. A lot of them haven't had mothers. A lot of them haven't been taught how to be wives. Same thing with us. A lot of us haven't been taught how to be a husband, how to be a father. So we're learning and we're constantly playing catch up. Everything that used to be sacred, that came down from the Creator. And I'm talking about us because we were once sacred. We looked at ourselves as sacred. It's no longer sacred. So you have these women out here that's been having sexual relationships since the age of 12. You hear where I'm coming from? Where they created all these different soul ties. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And it goes on and on and on. To the point where when you get in your 20s, late 20s, or 30s, and you looking at your prospective wife, she done already been ran through. Her spirit done already been ran through. Her soul done already been ran through. To the point where she's done, she's finished. And this is what we living with out here, man. Y'all young women, man, y'all have to maintain y'all purity, man. That's so your soul and your mind and your spirit can stay intact. Because if not, you ain't gonna be no good candidate to be a wife, to be a mother. Because you done destroyed your soul. You done allowed yourself to go into the dunya, the lower level. Stop allowing yourself to be abused in those ways. And for the women that have already experienced all these hardships and these dark and evil emotions, man, take those experiences to raise your daughters better. Take those experiences to lift them up in a way that prevents them from going down those paths that you went through. Same thing with the fathers, man. Take whatever time you have to give to your sons and daughters and nurture them in a way where they don't have to run out into the streets looking for love. Take your time out here, man. Learn from your mistakes, man. Because as long as you got breath in your lungs, you have a chance to rebuild. Human body is an excellent thing. It has the power to regenerate itself. And I believe the same thing about the soul, spirit, and mind. We have to find ways to regenerate ourselves, and that's what comes with fasting. That's what comes with prayer. That's what comes with opening your hands out into the universe and being righteous towards yourself and being the change that you want to see in the world. Stop worrying about what everybody else is doing. Stop worrying about what everybody else has. Because the only thing that can do is just continue to lead you in a place to dissatisfaction. On a road where you're never satisfied with the things that you have. How can you expect the Creator to bless you with great things and you can't even appreciate the small things that you have in life? We got to get it together out here, man. Because the ways in which we live in is only destructive, man. It's only continuing to send generation after generation to the gates of hell. And not just to the gates of hell, through the gates of hell. From city to city. I don't care where you're from LA to New York and everything in between, from city to city. We dying, man. From the south to the north. What are we building out here? What are we really accomplishing? And I'm not talking about individual accomplishments. I'm talking about us as a whole. What are we accomplishing on the world stage? Nothing. Larry Hoover said that it's 3 types of minds. You have a great mind, a mediocre mind, and a small mind. What type of mind you got? You need to really think about that. But I'm going to talk to you guys later, man. Y'all make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to Real TV. And I'm Stephen King, the real Stephen King.